Hello, welcome to Building Arrays using Legos series grades 2 through 5, part 1. So we're going to be talking about the building of arrays with Legos. And students begin to build arrays in 2nd grade. And then in 3rd grade, they use arrays to develop conceptual understanding of multiplication. I don't know about you, but Legos are all over my house, and I have found that they're fantastic for helping students to build and explore arrays. And students may have access to these resources at home, not just at school. So let's do some exploring. I'm going to start with minifigs. This is a minifig array, and there are lots of different ways to see arrays. This particular picture can be shown as 3 by 4 or 4 by 3. It's really important to be able to highlight both options. If students are too rigid in their thinking, or we teach it in a way that it's rows and columns only, then students don't see that turnaround fact of multiplication. So we want to move students from looking only at one dimension, which is 3 equal groups of 4, to an array of both dimensions, which is the area model, so that understanding that 3 by 4 covers the same area as 4 by 3. And this array of minifigs does that. So then let's think about what it would look like to expand this array. So when we transition from the previous picture to this one, how is that array changing? And we can ask students, what might the next array look like? So in this case, we've moved from 3 groups of 4 to 3 groups of 5, or we have 5 groups of 3. Different way of looking at it. So we want to think about that and ask students questions that they can come up with on their own about this particular array. If we continue to build on that array, what does that look like? So right now we have an array of 3 by 5 minifigs that is built from before, or we could have 5 by 3. But in this case, we're going to keep it as 3 by 5. And I have another collection of 22 other minifigs that are not part of the current array. So what will my array look like if I keep my minifigs in groups of 5 and add these 22 other minifigs to that array? So here we go. When I add the other minifigs, now I have 7 groups of 5 with 2 left over. What are different arrays that could be built using all these minifigs? Are there any? What other configurations could we come up with if we didn't have groups of 5? How about groups of 2, groups of 3, groups of 4, groups of 7? What would that look like? We want to give students a lot of opportunity to explore and to play around with building arrays. We can move away from individual objects like the minifigs to bricks. And the bricks become more complex. We want to transition from the bricks on their own to the little pips, which are the little raised circles on the top. In this case, we can look at this array in 2 different ways. We can see it as an array of 2 by 3 or 3 by 2 if we're counting the whole brick, or if we count the pips, it could be an array of 4 by 6 or 6 by 4. There's an array game that I'm going to share with you now. There's a PDF of the directions and a recording sheet that are attached to this article. I'd love to see your students at school, or if you have kids at home, play this game and let us know how it went at your house. So here are the directions. Depending on the number of Legos that you have at your house that are not currently part of other builds, you will want to decide on the number of bricks that each player will get. Players can choose that number of bricks. So as students get more sophisticated in playing this, they will realize that they want to pick a variety of different sized bricks which have different sized arrays, but we want them to discover that on their own. Then the player rolls one dice, player 1 rolls 1 dice and creates an array with bricks. Player 2 does the same. Players record their arrays as a number sentence on the recording sheet. On play 2, each player rolls dice again and creates that array and stacks it on top of the first array. If they can't create that array, it is a lost turn. Play continues at the same way until all the bricks are used up by a player. Whichever player has the tallest array tower wins that game. So let's look at an example. Here's the first roll for player 1 on the left and player 2 on the right. You can see that they have selected a brick that matches the array that they have rolled. For roll 2, player 1 has rolled a 4x4, and this would stack on top of the 4x1 from the first roll. Player 2 in roll 2 rolled 2x1, and so that small blue brick would go on top of the brick from the first roll. In roll 3, they continue on to stack as they go based on the number that they roll and create an array to show that. In roll 4, in this roll, player 1 got 3x2, which is 6. However, this player did not have a brick which shows a 3x2 array. They did have a 2x2, which is the white brick, and a 2x1, the black brick, which can be used to make that array. Thus, they didn't lose their turn. I'll be really excited to see your examples of this array in your classroom or at home. Let me know how it goes. I look forward to hearing about it.